The money that I collected is honorable that brought
contribution to Nigerian peace.
Me, I want name all of now look into
but there comes a time when you want to take steps every day to make this country a better place.
And the new Nigeria is
education is telling them it's time to change.
All colors, shades, angles, and perspectives can be overwhelming in our present world of information overload. This is introducing Ground Zero. Ground Zero is a current affairs discussion phone-in program covering topical issues in the polity. The program is a platform for an in-depth analysis of trending issues by professionals, authorities in various fields, analysts, and key actors in the polity. Ground Zero gives the listener an opportunity to contribute to the discussion via phone call, SMS, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. From the conservatively serious to the ridiculously funny, Ground Zero accommodates them all. Professionals, urban contemporary businessmen and women, policymakers, public service workers, students, artisans, traders, and the in-between. Ground Zero comes up from 5 to 6 p.m. every Tuesday and Friday on Invicta FM and 5 to 6 p.m. every weekday on Procyon Radio and Television. Ground Zero is a production of the Procyon Media. Tune in.
All right, it is indeed a nice and lovely day, and you are right here tuned to Procyon Radio and Television, and of course we are here live and reaching you from our studios in Kaduna. My name is Ehis Agbon, the one that you call the peacemaker, and Ground Zero is a program where we pick up topical issues in the polity, and with analysts and guests, of course, we try to analyze and shed more light on these issues so that we can have a better understanding of these issues. And today is not going to be different, because what is on the lips of everybody is PVC collection, and we'll be looking at the extension of PVC collection by 8 days from on the 22nd to on the 29th of this month. And also, we'll be looking at political support groups, their roles, and I have some of them with me in the studio. We'll be looking at the candidates they are supporting and the reason why you should vote for their candidates. Okay, and like you know, to be part of the program, you'd either call in when we open up the phone lines, or you go to our social media handles. We already have the post in respect of today's program flying on our social media handles on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and which other one? Instagram, TikTok, and we have a unified handle, Procyon RTV. Procyon RTV. Procyon is spelled Procyon RTV. And by the way, Procyon means the brightest star in the constellation. And we believe that with God on our side, that's what Procyon Radio and TV will turn out to be very soon. And if you want to go to the program specific handle on Twitter, you can go to Ground 0247. Ground 0247. That's the program specific Twitter handle. And this program, for those that are listening to us every other elsewhere apart from terrestrial, you can also join us on Invicta 98.9 FM. And next week, Badegi FM Mina will be part of it. And after then, we'll still see if some other stations can be out part of it. So, my guest in the studio this evening, I have Mr. Mathias Tsado. He is the Director of Research and Strategy, Niger State PDP Presidential Campaign Management Committee. Mathias, you're welcome to Ground Zero.
Thank you very much.
I also have with me in the studio Mr. Godwin Kwalbe. He is from the Gida Ashiru Kudan support group. But Godwin, you're welcome to Ground Zero.
Thank you, Ehis.
And
you.
Yes. And to my right hand side, I have the one and only Olu Folorunso, the one you call Olu Publisher. Olu, you are welcome to Ground Zero.
It's a pleasure being with you. Thank you very much.
Okay, and let's go straight to looking at more details in respect of today's program. The Independent National Electoral Commission has extended the deadline for the collection of permanent voters' card until Sunday, January 29th, 2023. INEC earlier had fixed the collection deadline as Sunday, January 22, 2023. But after a meeting that was held yesterday, INEC said it had pushed the deadline by 8 days. The Commission is determined to, I'm pulling out a quote now from them, the Commission is determined to ensure that registered voters have ample opportunity to collect their PVCs ahead of the forthcoming election. For this reason, the time frame for the collection of PVC is extended by 8 days. INEC National Commissioner Festus Okoye said this. Extension by 8 days, and the reason for the extension is due to complaints from Nigerians, most especially those that recently registered but have not been able to collect their PVCs. And a visit around town to the collection point, you discover that they have quite a number of people, a crowd in short, of both young and old, trying to collect their PVCs, and because of the crowd that is gathered and that Nigerian factor, which is actually corruption that's involved in it, you see people having to pay money to bribe their way just to collect their PVCs. And why do we have a situation like this? And what will possibly be the backlash of a situation like this in the coming election cycle? We'll be looking at all of this together and also trying to see if we can suggest possible solutions to the electoral umpires in Nigeria, that's INEC. So I'd like to start from Folorunso.
Thank you.
Extension of this PVC collection. First, is it a good thing?
It's a very good thing. It's a nice thing. But the question now is, why must we extend it by only 8 days? When the same electoral act allows campaign to be conducted till 24 hours before election. So you could have allowed the PVC to keep running until 24 hours before election. And this time around, like the youth have said, PVC is no longer the PVC we are looking at. It is now what we call please vote correctly.
Okay.
So if you must allow people to vote correctly, they must have something to vote with. So to me, 1 week is too.
It's not enough.
It's not enough. It's not enough.
All right. I'll come to Godwin Kwalbe. 1 week. That's 8 days extension. Is it enough time for people to get their PVCs?
First and foremost, we must congratulate and celebrate INEC for the extension.
Okay.
But I'm also of the opinion that we have to get over this kind of thing as a nation. What is wrong with a citizen turning 18 and just walk to INEC office, registered, and get his or her own PVC? Must it be when election is about to take place, then we embark on this rush? You know, we just have to get over this kind of thing. Make sure that you walk into the office of an INEC and register and pick your PVC without any stress. I think we should stop this extension and go beyond days, we back and forth. No, let it be an open thing. As you turn 18, walk into the office, get registered, and pick your PVC.
Matthias, your take on this?
No, well, I think I share the same opinion with my brothers. The idea of having to break our registration, it doesn't make any sense. The approach by participants in elections in Nigeria, I think it's something that we need to look at and review it, because if you see the idea that anytime election is coming around, the activities around politics, around election, around even governance, that is when people want to commission projects. That is when, so you can see that as a society, we've really not been able to get it right when it comes to governance. And so you have the idea that everybody is rushing into this thing at this point. Like my brother said, look, it doesn't make any sense. You, as a young person, when I turn to age of 18, I can go into a bank to open an account. I can go into a driving school to learn how to drive. Yeah. So why should it be special that when it is election period, You're now talking about restricting, giving us number of days. Even the stopping of the registration did not make any sense. But again, we must understand the peculiarity of our society.
Okay.
Here is a society where the only thriving business in Nigeria today is politics. So for that reason, you see, things around politics become extremely complicated. Politics in Nigeria today is not about service. It's not about governance. It's about what can I grab and what can we share as a people. So for that reason, you discover that the approach, even by the umpire, by the people, by the government, everybody is talking about the election, not in the context of what the citizen stands to benefit, but who will hold power. And so, because of the way, the nature of power and the gravitation towards it, you see that the fight around power becomes extremely very, very tough. And for that reason, you see the people who are running for election. So I watched a man yesterday on TV and was accusing INEC of doing one thing or the other. And so there are so much accusations going around simply because Nigeria as a society has not been able to develop any other system that is working except politics.
Wow. Now, still staying with you. As it stands now, is it that we have a system that's working against the citizen, or the citizens have created a system that works against themselves? Because all said and done, we are the ones that have elected persons that will go make those laws that eventually translate into the electoral act that we operate with, that has created this system that seemed not to be working, for us. I wouldn't know if it is. From your own perspective, is it the system that should be strengthened, or the citizens' attitude to the system that should be strengthened?
Okay, if you say whether we are the ones that elect the people today, I don't know. I can't say, because I've been in several meetings where people talk about the fact that, look, election in Nigeria has not been about what the people want. Election in the country, and that is why, as at now, if you the loudest song by the electoral umpire is your election, your vote will count. Your vote will count. So it means invariably that over the years the votes have not been counting. So you actually know the one that elected them. They are the ones that selected. And look, believe me honestly, this is really it's problematic because or it's troubling. When you look at the nature of things over the years, you discover that people who want to run for election, they have been able to manipulate the system, manipulate their way into power, being able to buy their way into power and what have you. You have a situation whereby almost 62 to 63% of the population of the country are illiterate. And these people, you can't deny them the opportunity to vote. They are eligible to vote, and for that reason, their attitude to voting is what do we stand to gain at the moment. Now I've been on the research fields, checking a couple of things, even as we build up to this election, and I think it was one elder statesman, Afe Babalola or somebody in Ekiti, who mentioned recently that this election will still go to the highest bidders. So we've not been able to establish that system whereby the voter determines who becomes his representative. That is settled. But now, yes, maybe because of the introduction of technology, there is fears everywhere that now elections will count, votes will count. We are hoping that it will. Then the second thing is, even if votes will count, the intention behind those who vote, what is the motivation? Because if the motivation is what I get for that moment, then you can't hold anybody accountable. I remember watching a lady, having a conversation with the constituents, and they would try to challenge her. They say, "Shut up! I bought your vote. I paid for one."
Yeah. I think I saw that video clip somewhere.
So you can see that if you have a system that runs like that, it's not difficult for you to try to hold people to account. In the last primaries of our election, I contested for House of Reps under the People's Democratic Party. And, with brilliant ideas, shared a lot of things with the people that, look, we need to be able to come up with something that would benefit the people.
Yeah.
But how much education do the people who determine who become candidates have at the moment
to be able to
for
make
them
informed
to be able to make
judgment?
informed decision?
That's a big one. I'll come to Godwin now.
Yes, sir.
The people and the system. Who is working against who? The system working against the people, or is the people that have created the system that is working against them?
Well, when you were asking, I was thinking of the chicken and the egg, which comes
Yes.
because the people running the system are coming from the people who are electing others to move forward. But actually, to be sincere, we have a system that is working against its own citizen. I've said that Nigeria is a system that chokes its own citizen.
That's right.
If you turn to the economic angle, you are being choked.
Yeah.
Even from the political angle, like he has just analyzed, you are being choked there. You go to the educational system, you are being choked. Almost every angle, Nigerians are being choked. The system is not working for our own good, except for the good of few. Now, I am an advocate of people not just participating at the level of voting the correct persons. Sometimes, of the truth, people elect the correct persons, but they don't follow up with the process. You see, we've been missing it there. You see the hype now about voting. As soon as the elections are announced, if you are the ones that your candidate favorite won, you are celebrating, you are happy, and that's all. If you are the one that your person lost, you are depressed and you are disenchanted and completely you cut off from the system, which is wrong. I believe that once we have successfully inaugurated the system, we should follow up.
That's right.
There should be a continuation of our engagement. I said it recently that what is worrying us is a 4-4-year syndrome.
Okay.
Yes.
Expand on that for 4 years.
Now this is 2023.
This
an
is
election year. Everybody. That's why we're having a rush for PVC and all that.
Yes.
But as soon as we are done, I am telling you, for the next 3 years, nothing is happening. People are not doing anything. All these support groups are quiet. They are not asking leaders questions. Engagements are not going on. Everybody is just quiet till another 4 years, and then we start again. It is not going to serve us well. We must hold leaders accountable through the system. Okay. Yes, I voted for you. You are my favorite candidate. But that shouldn't mean every wrong thing, every wrong step, every wrong policy, I should just keep applauding you.
Yeah,
no, we should hold people accountable.
That's right.
I'll come to Folorunso.
I think I will concur and agree with Mr. Mathias, because he said the system has been...
Mr. Godwin.
Mr. Godwin, the system has been working against the citizens. And number one thing, which is the instrument of oppression of any bourgeoisie, of any leader, is poverty. So in Nigeria, unfortunately, we have both economic poverty and intellectual poverty. And these two cankerworms, we need to get out of it. For instance, there are some parts of Nigeria where followership determines leadership. There are some parts of Nigeria where leadership determines followership. I'm sorry to say, I might be from the other part where followership determines leadership. That is what we have done in Ondo State when we make Mimiko to become a governor within 48 days from an unknown party, then Labour Party. Because the hype was that followership must determine who becomes our governor. And our president then came with the late Agagu, celebrating everywhere, even just like the Emiloko of today. But we decided in Ondo State that no way, it is Mimiko. We made him to resign as Minister of Housing. He resigned for an unknown future. And 48 days later, he became a governor. So because the level of intellectual poverty there is low. So when there's intellectual poverty and there's economic poverty, we cannot go forward.
All right. Still talking about the PVC collection, and for you, what would be that word you tell the INEC? When should they stop PVC collection or stop the registration cycle?
It should be a continuous exercise until 24 hours to election.
To election, because INEC staff will be very busy with, so they may not be able to.
Yes.
Okay. Godwin.
Well, we are making a suggestion. It's left for them to work on the Electoral Act and see how they can solve this thing on their own mandate also. But like he said, I agree with that. Please, let's stop making election look like a war. Okay. These are part of the things that make election to be very dangerous in our society. Please, election should be an activity that you exercise within a few moments and you are gone, and continue with normal life activities.
There should not be a public holiday on election day.
Sincerely, I don't support this idea. But you see, as it is now, I can tell you Nigerians are working and planning, keeping food, keeping money against the week. In fact, till inauguration. It's not good for us. It's not good for us.
Mr. Mathias.
Yeah. Well, I think, you see, if the electoral umpire believe that what will work for them to deliver a credible election for us will be for them to stop on the 29th in terms of distribution of the PVC, no problem. The most important thing is we have already established it here that it's not necessary for so much hula balloon about elections, but we are a developing society. We're a growing society whereby power determines a lot of things. So when you see the fight for power, the approach here is different from some other places, because we see that those who stay at that top determine what gets down to the people who are down the bottom of the ladder. And so for that reason, a lot of people see to be extremely very active when it comes to who they support and all that. As we make progress as a society, as the bottom of the ladder begins to get empty and we move to a level where everybody becomes self-sufficient, comfortable, has a couple of basic amenity, basic facilities, access to some very key things, and then not depending on the direction of a government to eat or to survive. By the time we get to that level, you see a couple of things will begin to happen. If you read the book, I think Why Nations Fail, it tells you about the idea of political establishment and having economic institutions. The confluence between the political establishment and the economic institutions, it gives a kind of balance that make people become more independent, make them take their decisions independently. As at now, if you look at our election, even despite the fact that we know that in some areas some individuals are independent, they can take their decisions and all that. In some areas, people are still waiting for some people to give them the instruction and where are we going to vote. You understand?
Yeah,
we are moving gradually from where we are. As we progress, we hope that one day we'll get to a point where at a click of a phone, of a pad in my house, I'll be able to cast my vote. And then, whoever becomes the leader of the society, it will not necessarily change so much. It's just that once that person becomes the leader, that's you say, okay, maybe a couple of people will say a few directions, a few things that he is bringing on board, but because the institution has been established. You see, what happened in America, that I think on January 6th of 2020,
the invasion of the Capitol.
You see, that thing was capable of capsizing the American democracy.
Yeah.
right? But because of the strength of institutions, they were able to hold. The system was on ground to hold and ensure that this cannot happen.
Yeah.
God forbid if that had happened in a society like Nigeria, that a certain president has lost the election and then decide to galvanize his base and say, go and burn. Look, let's what the president had in mind, if it had happened, America would have probably by now been rumbles. So we are making progress gradually. So let's even the fact that INEC is able to say today that vote will count because of introduction of technology, beavers and IREBs and all that, and the fact that you can on the day of the election
you can monitor how it's going.
It's a development that we should appreciate. So we appreciate what they've done and let them just continue to improve.
All right. And we'll rest that for now. And in the following days, we'll still be monitoring what INEC is doing and seeing how we can also still add our voice to all the conversation. Now, coming to the second snippet, this on the program today is the role of support group in every election cycle. Does it start and end there? Because you picked on something that it has become a ritual, 4-year ritual. Yeah. After it, support group goes to sleep and all of that. Now, what are their roles in every election cycle in galvanizing support for or against their principal and orders and all of that? We'll be looking at all of those ones. Now, aside from the Gida support group, tell us about the Gida support group first before we'll move on to the next thing.
Gida stands for Ashiru Ayuba Support Group.
Okay.
Gida there is door to door.
Door to door.
Yes. So what we do is that we carry on with the work which our principal cannot be able to do. They will not go to everywhere. They cannot reach all the angles in our own society. There are groups they cannot reach. We have friends that they are not connected to. So we reach out to friends in our grassroots, in our localities, and we organize meetings to enlighten them what is at stake, what we stand to lose, what we stand to gain if we go this direction or we go the other direction. And we are giving people enlightenment as per these PVC issues and other issues that are at stake. Seriously, we are working, and I want to tell you that as a group, one of the decisions we took is that we will not end with the elections.
Okay.
We are determining to continue as an existing body after the election and keep on reaching out to our principal to tell them that this was why we supported you. This was why we worked for you. This was why we believed in you. And this was what you told us. And we are seeing you leaving the path. We are not happy with you. And we believe that if all groups will take this as an assignment, we will have a better society. We must hold people accountable.
All right. I'll come to Folorunso. I know that you have a town hall meeting that's coming up soon. Yes, and for those that are watching us, you can see this. Okay, it's a Yoruba Awareness Forum, yes. Northern States and Abuja. There's a Kaduna chapter. You have a town hall meeting and with PDP candidates in Kaduna State. We are tired of this. Well, when they get there, they can read all of this. All right. So, what day is the town hall?
February 9.
February 9.
Yes.
That's when the town hall meeting is coming up.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, why are you as is it a socio-cultural group now or political
Thank you
group?
very much. The Yoruba Awareness Forum was formed in the year 2000 as a voluntary organization of Yoruba sons, daughters, in-laws. Then Islamic leaders, Christian leaders, traders, township associations, village associations. Why we did this basically then was to create awareness of what when the case of any national importance. And this one cannot be an exception. And secondly, this time around, we want to galvanize the over 500,000 votes of Yorubas for our in-law. Because statistically,
who is your in-law now?
It's Atiku Abubakar,
okay.
who has been married, who has been married to a Yoruba woman for 50 years. Oh my God. Okay. So now, yes, and we have been monitoring this thing. We see that there's no election in Kaduna that Yorubas don't cast 500,000 votes and above.
Okay.
So ours is to galvanize, and these are the messages to be passed at the town hall meeting, where about 5,000 people will be present, representing different organizations.
Okay.
With the sole mandate of go and negotiate for so people to vote. So that is why we are in it. I'm sorry that to change a misconception that is everywhere now. That since Tinubu is a Yoruba man, it is automatic. Everybody should no. A lot of people don't even know that Titi Abubakar, junior sister brother, is the senator representing Osun East now. So that is to say that Atiku is accepted in Osun, and he has crowned it by bringing the governor. And as I speak with you, 2 senators from Ondo State, my state, they are PDP. So these are the kind of awareness we want people to know, so that they don't be carried away with the fallacy of Emilokon.
Okay, I'll come to Mathias. You are in the Presidential Campaign Management Committee in Niger State. Yes, and you are a friend of Kaduna. Looking at the support group and your committee, what exactly are you guys doing?
Okay, well, just to mention that I'm also your in-law because I'm married to a Yoruba.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
so you are a member of our group.
I'm a member, automatically member of
some few years ago, I would have been one also.
Let's do the 3 year story.
All right, the responsibility of my office has been to ensure that we get information as regards to what is happening around our candidates, our party. What are people saying? What are people talking about? What are the issues that people want to have addressed? Those are the things that we've been able to collect, and then we've been able to also give to the party ideas, strategies that will be deployed to ensure that at the end of the day, we're able to win the election. And from what we've gathered from across some of the states that we've checked, we discover a lot of people, have this belief that the society is not going in the direction that they want to go and because of that, a lot of them think that yes, Nigeria is due for a change, but what kind of change do they want? What kind of change are they expecting? What is going to be required of them? Most of them don't know that. So what we are doing is to bring them to speed with some of the plans of our candidates, give them instruction and give them information about what the candidates has in mind, what will happen if the candidate becomes president or governor, and then like that we've been able to see that a couple of people around have been able to understand better that yes, the personalities of those who we are marketing to them are the kind of people that we need at the moment to lead the country. Okay. And I think then about the support group, I also want to mention that the idea of support groups and what do they call them again in the country? The critics, the pressure groups. Now there is a difference. Okay. So you have a situation whereby somebody will say, okay, look, we're a pressure group, we are our Bring Back Our Girls became one group like that was established to ensure that particular message got down to people. Yes. Then they have a lot of them around. What we have failed, or what has failed in the society over the years, is the fact that once, like my brother said, once we are able to elect leaders, everyone just goes to sleep. whether support group. In fact, because the support group, most time, many support groups are established as just
things about
that moment,
the polling
just get
season.
something that
Yes.
moment. I've been approached by more than 10 or 20 of different support groups that want to appoint me in one thing or the other simply because of the fact that so we also need to do a lot of education in that aspect, that you should be able to create something within yourselves and have a social contract with the candidates, with timelines. In fact, like Godwin said, you should be able to sit down with the candidate and say, okay, look, despite the fact that we are giving you this support and all that, here are some of the things that we're expecting you to do for us. Thank you.
Yes.
And then, if possible, there should be some suggestions of some of you in your group who can serve in this government. You know, because government is the way it is in Nigeria. Even being appointed as the director of research and strategy, a lot of people are reaching out to me to send them money because everybody just believe that any appointment in Nigeria is about this boy don't land or all this kind of thing. But it should be about service and all that. So we should have people like him who would approach candidates, sit down with them, have an agreement. I'm giving you this. What are you giving us? And we're not saying give us in terms of what we will benefit personally or individually. We're saying how much can we be able to put on the table with you to ensure that we make a progress as a state. And please, as you're doing AA for
Ashiru,
please do AA for my Oga.
Let me even tell you what we did is that when we say Ehis, Ashiru, Ayuba, we automatically translate it to Atiku Abubakar. There's no discrimination there. We don't stop just at state level.
All right, it's about time we open up the phone lines because we want the listeners and the viewers to also add their voice to this conversation this evening. And like the number to dial is 0809 4646 206. That's 0809 4646 and also for those that want to drop their comments and observations in respect of this program and what we are discussing on our social media handles. On Facebook, look for Procyon RTV. That's Procyon RTV. That's on Facebook. On Twitter, look for Procyon RTV. Procyon RTV. We have our first caller this evening. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Good evening, Mr. Ehis. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Thank you very much. Mathias, Femi, Folorunso, everybody in the studio, I say good evening to you.
Thank you.
Good evening. What's your name?
My name is Musa. I'm calling from Kaduna. Thank you very much.
All right, Musa Bala, let's have your take.
Let me quickly go to INEC distribution of cash and other things. The system working against the people or the people working against the system. Well, as far as I'm concerned, the people are working because we keep changing system and we keep having problems. Attitude people rushing and doing all these things to beat the system has always never helped us. If you look at our life generally today in Nigeria, will always beat any system that comes our way. INEC cannot afford to continue distributing that of the date of the election. There are a lot of things INEC needs to do. Everything have timeline. It's just like you said that the bank should continue to work 24 hours. It doesn't make sense. There are a lot of things that we took for granted. We have pleasure blaming government at all the time. All the time we blame government, all the time we blame government without looking at our own part. If you look at the various election guidelines given by INEC and other things, we always make sure that we abuse it. We took things for granted, we don't do it. So I'm very sure, if you look at it entirely, it is the people that are working against the system. And about the support group, let me say that my third wife is going to be Yoruba, and that does not mean that that will determine my thinking faculty when it comes to voting. The quality of the candidate, whether Yoruba, whether Hausa or Igbo, or any other person. Like I said, thank God, the 3 candidates have held positions. 3, all of them, they have 8 years position. It's just for us to look at what are their flaws when it comes to all these positions. What did Peter Obi did when he was governor of Anambra State? The records are there. What did Atiku Abubakar do when he was a vice president? The records are there. What did Tinubu do, for example? What did Konkoso do? Kola Jola, all of them. We look at their record. We are looking for chief executive position, the highest in the country. If I'm going to be employed by Procyon Radio today, my contribution to media organization must be key, so that you see whether I'm eligible to come or not. But even the Yorubas, last election was Atiku not their in-law when they never voted for him. So the issue of in-lawship, I think is not the matter. Even Mathias that will soon marry Yoruba, that will not make Yoruba that they will vote for him. So it's the quality of Mathias, the quality of any other candidate. And for the AA and the AA, I say congratulations, go ahead. Everybody, every support group, go ahead. But support group are merely commercial group as far as Nigeria is concerned. They die with the end of the election. And after each and every cycle of election, they surface. I pray God bless us with good leaders, no matter where they come from, no matter their religion or no matter their language. Irrespective of where they come from, so long they are good for the country, I pray God bring them. And may God distance us from people that are always looking for position for their self-interest, most especially the grand corrupt politicians. Right. Once again, good evening to you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Musa Bala. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Benjamin. I'm calling from Ngomboro.
All right.
I've been following your program since when you started.
All right, thank you so much.
I really appreciate all your guests. But my problem is, why can't us unite ourselves and retire all these old people from politics? That is my question.
Okay.
I'm not against the governorship candidate in Kaduna or anywhere. My problem is, when I had the youth always they always celebrate all these old people. I'm feeling sad to see youth, fellow youth like me, talking about Atiku or Tinubu. It is time for us to talk of who can be able to unite this country, a young person, a vibrant person that can be able to unite this country. Forget about religion, forget about education, and let's focus on youth so that we can be able to get things right.
Okay.
But we are talking of all these people, 75, 78, 80 years old, that they want to come back and what is the future of our children?
That's a question I don't have an answer to.
Right? Hello?
Hello, I said that's a question that I don't have an answer to.
So, we should talk about the future of our own children. Now, we are always celebrating all these people. They are saying their own time. Their own time has gone. It is our own time to unite ourselves, to look for somebody like Peter Obi or also.
All right.
Those are the type people to talk of.
I think you made your point. Let's move on. Thank you sincerely. I appreciate the call this evening.
Youth.
All right. Thank you so very much. Let's take the next call. Hello. Good evening. Hello. All right. 0809-464-6206 is the number to dial. Hello. Good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Yes, and your crew. Good evening. Kure is the name.
Oh, Kure, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you. You see, your analysts have done justice to me, particularly me. Honestly, that issue of voters' card should be a continual process. You see, my 2 daughters, one of them was registered, but she was not captured. And you see, -1 in my house. And the second one, she did it. Now it's a fresh one. She cannot go and collect it because she's in school. She can't leave school to come and collect it, and they cannot give another person. So I suggest that the INEC should hear our cry and allow it to be a continual process. Anytime somebody reaches there, he should just go voluntarily and register himself. That's just that. Issue of this political party, it's not easy, but thank God the youth are now getting it right.
And the same you that are campaigning for their Baba and their Omoleko, Omoleke, whatever it is. Instead of them to team up so that we push these guys, as the last caller have said it, me, I didn't see what they would give me. Rather, they are even setting me back. How I wish they would take me to 2014. Let me manage with it. But the revise is the case. But we'll get it right. Have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Hello. Good evening, Mr. Ehis.
Good evening. You are welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling
Thank you very much. This is Ibrahim calling from Kabaladoki.
All right, Ibrahim. Let's have your take.
Yes, the issue of the accuracy. I commend the INEC for the expertise for the expression, but the main thing that has been concerning this, the voter card could have been decentralized it. They should be taken to each of the polling units so that everybody, every participant, will enable all the electorate to be enabled to get his or her own, to say that no one should be decentralized. That is just the way for us to go. If not, if they continue like this, by the end of the day, we might not be able to aim what we want to get. Now, secondly, for the politicians themselves, all the gladiators, especially 3 or 4 of them, you see, many of them, no one is going to be favored. If any one of them just thought that maybe this party or the other person may favor me, that is just the end of the road for that particular party. Each of the contestants go out here and vote and find out about this way, campaign vigorously. If not, if they know where they are, something will surely shock them. Okay. Finally, my dear, you see, we the electors at least, I want each of us to see ourselves as one, so that all of us are fighting one cause, so that at the end of the day we achieve that cause we want to achieve. So let us not play a politics of fanatic, but politics of progress. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you so very much, Ibrahim. Let us not play politics of fanaticism, but politics of progress. We'll take one more call and we'll come back to the studio. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the program. Hello. Yes, good evening. Welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
It's Francis calling from Kaduna.
All right, Francis, listen to your phone and not the radio. You can't listen to the radio and make the call at the same time. That's why we are having this brief. So just turn down the volume on the radio.
Completely.
Say again.
Good evening to the guests in the studio. I'm Francis calling.
All right, Francis, let's quickly have your take.
Honestly, concerning the issue of INEC distribution of voters card is completely against Nigeria. Let me use that word. Because I don't see the reason why our election will be conducted based on polling unit, and distribution and registration of voters card that you will use for casting your vote will be centered in a local government secretariat or one place or the other. It's wrong. I know that INEC is being given enough money to run the affairs of this 2023 election. They should have distributed this or distribute this based on polling unit, just like the way it was done in 2014.
Okay.
That is an error, and that brings me to whether our system is working against us or we are working against. The system of Nigeria in every aspect of Nigerians as a nation is working against the masses. It's only the few elites at the corridor of power that benefit from the system. The system is working against the masses, and they purposefully do it or did it that way through our constitution of 1999, because the constitution was not drafted by Nigerians. It was very few elites that called themselves the privileged ones came together and drafted a constitution in favor of or against millions of Nigerians. So the system is against us until Nigeria is able to rise and abolish this present constitution and brought a brand new constitution that will take care of all these things that we are complaining, irrespective of who you are, where you come from, and your tribe or religion. As long as our constitution remains the 1999 constitution amended, it will continuously work against us. That is the truth. Right. And coming to the support groups, these are the people that make the politicians to do whatever they are doing once they get to power. Because every support group today that is galvanizing vote for a particular candidate is collecting some came from that candidate to galvanize vote for him or her. So therefore, anybody that is blaming Nigerians for collecting 1 naira before voting should first and foremost blame these support groups that galvanize vote for politicians, because they are the ones that collect money first after the people that go for the delegate that go for primary. The next people that collect money or whatever from politicians in support groups. So therefore, until them can be able to galvanize voters for a candidate without collecting shishi from that candidate, Nigeria will not get it right. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Francis. Well, let's come back to the studio now. We've had the callers and their contributions. We'll just quickly, in 1 minute, randomly pick any of the ones that each person would want to react to in 1 minute, because we are actually running out of time. Let's start from Mathias.
Well, I think generally the review is okay, but I just want to correct the impression of the man that said that the young people should come together and push aside what we have the old politicians. The old politicians are citizens of this country. They have the experience that we need in terms of leadership. What we need is a system that works, and someone who has the desire to give to the Nigerian people what they need as a people, not necessarily somebody's age. We are not looking for somebody to go run for Olympics or to go play football. We are looking for a leader who will be able to stay on the command and give instruction to the citizens of these people, of this country, and be able to inspire the people to a place whereby we all as individuals in society will be proud of our leader and be proud of what we are able to achieve. One of the biggest problems of this country today, sorry there's no time, is the lack of productivity. How do we get an individual that can steer that productivity in all of us, inspire all of us to become productive? We need a person who have that capacity to be able to create a system that can give the citizens of this country opportunity to pursue their individual goals and be able to achieve it and contribute to the general well-being of the society.
And I think that's a parting shot, but if the listener may ask, who is that person by your estimation? I think that was a wrong question from my end.
Cannot be wrong.
Godwin, your parting shot and reaction in 1 minute.
I want to say that the beauty of democracy is that it allows a variety of choices from citizens. And there is none of these candidates that will not have youth supporting him.
Okay.
I believe that youth are in all the groups supporting different candidates, so I don't think there's one candidate that is for youth and there's one party that is for youth. And again, I disagree that the support group should be held responsible or accountable for failure of leaders.
Okay.
At the end of the election, all citizens must hold leadership accountable, not only support group. I came to the studio, I sponsored myself here. Nobody gave me money to be here. We've done a lot of activities right from 2015. Nobody gave us anything. We sponsored our activities. That's service. Service, and we want people to put in resources. Well, you know, one mistake we are making is that we believe that as youth, we are just youth, and then someone will come and pick us and say, you are youth, come and lead us. Youths have failed to contribute to the growth of these political structures. And they just believe that age is enough to guarantee them going up. You have to grow in the process. You have to sacrifice to the system. And a lot of people are just there, no, youth, it's time for youth, it's time for youth. What have you contributed to the system?
I want to ask you your preferred candidate. Because I already have an idea.
AA is the preferred candidate.
Asama, AA, Akasa.
AA.
All right, let me come to Olu in 1 minute.
1 minute. It is unfortunate that most of the listeners and callers alike don't even know the definition of youth. Because I keep on wondering, is Peter Obi a youth? Is Kwankwaso a youth? The definition of youth, according to Nigerian Youth Council, is 18 to 30. So once you are over 30, you are no longer a youth. So it pains me, part of the intellectual property. Sentiment. Intellectual property, no sentiment. They don't even know.
Okay, your parting shot.
My parting shot is go and collect your PVC, and when you collect it, vote right by voting Atiku Abubakar at the top and Ashiru in Kaduna.
Well, that's about the size of the program. I sincerely want to thank all of my guests today, starting from Mathias Tsado. He's the Director of Research and Strategy, Niger State PDP Presidential Campaign Management Committee. Matthias, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Godwin Kwalbe, he is a member of Gida support group. Like he explained, AA stands for Ashiru and Ayuba, Atiku and Abubakar. It's a support group. And Folorunso Otumba is from the Yoruba Awareness Forum, and also publisher and a politically conscious person. Well, I want to sincerely appreciate you, the caller, for calling in, and also for those that listen, and most especially those that also followed us on the various social media handles, adding their voices to the conversation. And let them know that actually the program is every day of the week. But on Tuesdays and Fridays, we network with Invicta FS from 5 to 6. And to every other person that helped in the success of this program, from Ose Agbon, Nifemi Onibiyo, Grace Adebayo, and my great friend SMG, I appreciate you all. And not forgetting to Sarah Agbon, was the manager of the program today. Until next week when I'll be on again, I want to thank you all for being part of the program. My name is Ehis Agbon. You can call me the Peacemaker. I tell you, like always, whatever your labors and aspirations in this noisy confusion of life, learn to keep peace with your soul, with all its drudgery, sham, and broken dreams. It's a beautiful world that we live in. Be careful. Strive to be happy. Plant a tree today, water it, and watch it grow. May the good mighty Lord bless and keep us all.
Amen. Amen.